on the radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to day. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
It's 2017. He is Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
Uh-huh.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What are we
gonna
doing?
be what?
Yes.
They
We do. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy
Do you know what
New
the
Year.
people want? The people want to party with the Giants. The people want to go down to Miami. They want to see Justin Bieber. They want to be on yachts. They want to be shirtless. They want to be with Trey Songz. Do you have a problem with the Giants partying in Miami and posting it on social media?
I do not. But here's the actual issue. Once you become a made man, i.e. a professional, have 6 or 7 figures in your bank account, during the season, that period of time has to represent the most important time of your life and of your career, because that's your core business, and that in turn drives your endorsements, your appearances, your extracurricular activities. Football, whether you're playing it on Sunday, on Monday, and on Thursday. Nothing should interfere with that. The second part of it, your extra football activities don't necessarily have to be made for public consumption. That's where things get diluted. You now allow the public in to critique what you're doing, but also you now give the public the word to say, oh, you didn't play well. You dropped the football. You didn't run your route. You missed your block. It's because you're out partying
Is
and
he
you're
the
not
first
concentrating.
athlete to ever go party on New Year's Eve on his day off?
Not at all.
In the history of the sport. Do you think athletes ever went out on days off?
Not at all. But here's something I got to let the media know. Public figures do a lot of creeping that you guys don't realize.
Take us behind the curtain, Mr. Rose.
And here's what I mean. You'd be surprised who's sliding in whose DMs, who's emailing who's texting with who's creeping and sleeping with who in this industry. Okay, there are a lot of people doing that in entertainment and in sports, and that you don't realize that they find a way to keep it on the down low. And the reason why I bring that up is once you press send, once you pick up your phone, that's when you allow us all in. Because they could have done that without bringing us in. And so when you now bring us in, you kind of tell the public, I ain't tripping. I want you to see what I'm doing on my off day.
Check out my boat.
But here's the other thing. For seasoned veterans, people that call themselves lifers of the sport, if you lose this Saturday, you got all summer to do that.
There's plenty of time in the offseason.
So you actually got time to hang out with those guys? If y'all don't take care of business this weekend, okay, y'all got actually 6 months to do that. So when you think of it that way, you would say, man, it would be nice if they didn't do it on Sunday, if they didn't do it on Monday, and they did it after their playoff run. But as somebody that continues to be the CEO of the Champagne and Campaign Mount Rushmore, this now puts pressure on you as a performer to have to be able to show up.
It does. I mean, more important than his performance in the playoffs and more important of people's reaction to this social media post is, how do you feel about Tim's on the yacht in Miami?
I'm from the Midwest. I love hip-hop. And I would be doing the same thing, and I've done it before.
You've done Tim's on the yacht?
Yes, I have. You got to understand something. I've done Tim's anywhere. So it's not, we're not going to just make this. Hold on.
No. You hold on.
Hit the brakes. Okay. I've been on beaches with Tim's.
What?
Okay, so.
Okay, let me say this, though.
Walking in the sand.
Let me say this, though. See, now that's one level of analysis. However, I zoomed in on the Tim's. I think those are fur-lined Timbs. Okay, I think they're lined with fur. Now that you can't do on the beach. You can do Timbs on the beach, but not fur-lined Timbs. No.
Well, me personally, I don't necessarily want to do the fur ones anyway, because I just like the originals, the throwbacks, the constructions, as they're called.
Yep.
But here's the thing about dressing for the beach and or dressing for a yacht. I like Eli's quote about how they packed. So you would think that when you're surrounded by water, you probably wouldn't want to rock your skinny jeans or your Timbs or your shirt or sweater around the waist. But basically, what that looked like to me is we got a couple of hours to kill before we got to get on this flight.
That's really what it looked like.
We ain't trying to get wet. I'm bringing you behind the curtain.
Maybe we didn't sleep from last night. Trey Songz texted and said he was at the dock.
Hold on.
Oh, take us behind the curtain, Jalen Rose.
If you look deeper probably into what they were wearing at Live on Sunday night, I would deem like Cam Newton that same outfit mirrored what they were wearing on the yacht. Just why you take off your This is why you take off your shirt.
Now, in the picture that we're discussing, Trey Songz was holding something in one of his hands.
Trigger!
It was a hand-rolled cigarette, right, Mr. Rose?
Yeah, he's going to probably get a text from the Godfather Kevin Lyles about that. I've broken bread with Trey.
Really?
And I'm a fan of his work and of his music. I like to see those guys champagning and campaigning together.
Sure.
Justin Bieber, NFL players like that. That's
Get it in.
Live in Miami is church on Sunday at night. Like that's really what's going down.
I have no problem with them going out and enjoying themselves. But
No.
when you put on social media, you put extra pressure on yourself to perform.
That's all. And here's what the media got to stop doing. Let's stop making it.
You're part of the media, right?
Let's stop making it only about Odell. It was the entire receiving corps.
Oh yeah.
So
Sterling Shepard was there.
Yes.
Victor Cruz was there. Roger Lewis was there.
Yeah, give them some honorable mention. You see, you got jammed up, but you didn't mention their name.
Nope.
Okay. And so the reason why that's important is because now if you come out and you perform well, oh man, the party this weekend gonna be crazy.
You gotta go back to Live. You gotta go back to Live.
Now you gotta do
Now
it
you gotta go
until
back
you
to Live.
lose.
Yeah, until the Super Bowl
Now
week, you gotta go to Live. Sorry, coach, we gotta go to
And
Live.
so here's what happened. Now if you lose in the Super Bowl, like we should have done what we kept doing what we've been doing.
Live. See, it was your fault.
Should have been doing what we kept doing.
Jay Crowder's upset, Jalen Rose. Jay Crowder's upset. You're a guy, someone who, when we watch, you look at Gordon Hayward and you just get so excited. You love Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, I do.
And so does the Boston crowd. He's going to be a free agent. You know, Brad Stevens was his college coach. Jay Crowder didn't like that the Boston fans cheered Gordon Hayward, felt disrespected. Did he have a right to feel disrespected?
Does a starting quarterback in the NFL feel disrespected when the team draft another quarterback?
A little bit.
Yes.
Yep.
Look at it as though it's the Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers theory. When you see your replacement standing right in front of you, that's not something you should be enthusiastic about. I'm a member of the Celtics. If I'm Crowder, I play for the uniform tonight. I understand that in free agency, he's going to be a commodity. The business works itself in mysterious ways.
He would fit real nicely with the Celtics.
But we saw this happen in Washington, D.C. when Kevin Durant returned. And John Wall and Bradley Beal, those guys felt the exact same way, a level of disrespect by their home crowd cheering for the opposing player. Now, I've been a member of the Pacers when Larry Bird returned as the coach to the Celtics. I remember playing on the Bulls when MJ returned as a member of the Wizards. But these are all-time great Hall of Famers that put in work in those uniforms. So with that being said, I have no problem with the crowd cheering because they need to sign another all-star outright.
They sure do.
Like they did, like Al Horford.
Isaiah Thomas is not going to bring you a championship.
I mean, exactly. So if they can do that, and by the way, Boston fans, some of the best and most knowledgeable in the game.
Of course.
They know about championship parades as well as any city, state that has been going since, the last 15 to 20 years.
Really
so
quickly,
they're knowledgeable.
Chandler Parsons and his Grizzlies lost to the Lakers. After the game, he went to multiple nightclubs with Kendall Jenner.
Is this contract guaranteed?
One word
Okay, good.
of advice?
Run!
Jalen Rose.
Yes, sir.
The Lions lost 3 straight games. But they still made the playoffs anyway.
Did you say playoffs?
The Lions are in the playoffs.
That's playoffs?
Who knew that the Washington football team is this bad that the Lions backed into the playoffs? Are you happy or concerned for your Detroit Lions?
I'm enthusiastic that my wife roots for the G-Men. And watching the game with her, just imagine this. The Giants won, and because of that, the Lions got in the playoffs. Talk about keeping home happy.
As a Lions fan, are you concerned?
I am concerned because we play Seattle.
Where do you play? Where's that game you play?
Seattle.
You have to go to Seattle?
I'm really concerned.
Oh, do they have a good record there?
I'm really concerned.
You should be very concerned. Just give me the roadmap. How do the Lions win this game?
We hope that Golden Tate could give us some trade secrets because he was in Seattle for a few years. and they regret not re-signing him, as Pete Carroll has come out and talked about recently.
I'll tell you why you have a chance. There has been like 4 games this year where the Seahawks just didn't show up. You know, there's like 4 games that just didn't have it for whatever reason. You just gotta hope that happens again.
But the problem is, those weren't in the playoffs.
Justin Timberlake hit 2 half-court shots in Staples Center. I was impressed. I watched them. However, it's got to be one take. It's got to be one take, Justin. Those were 2 good shots, but how do I know you didn't miss 10 shots in between?
That's what we always stress. I love the half-court makes, but was it in 50 attempts or 2 attempts? It
looked like 2 attempts. Everyone that posted and talked about it acted like he hit 2 in a row, but you got to be one take.
Part owner of the Memphis Grizzlies. Big shout. I hear he played a big part in bringing back Mike Conley besides the big-time contract that they were able to offer.
Has been dealing with an illness, food poisoning. Now, there's reason for you to be concerned about this, Jalen Rose. Your number one order at any roster. Your number one order at any roster is what? On any menu?
Blackened lobster.
Lobster.
Grilled well done.
However, if there is no lobster on the menu, what is your second go-to?
Sea bass.
Sea bass. I've seen you eat more sea bass than the entire country of Chile, okay? You have. Do you know what Kevin Love got sick from? Sea bass.
What?
As an elite sea bass connoisseur, are you concerned about your sea bass consumption?
Not at all. I'm going to keep it moving. Keep it moving.
LeBron James said that James Jones was the best shooter ever. What is he doing?
This is one of those quotes that you get so caught up in the moment and what's happening with your roster, you forget that you played with a guy named Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Oh yeah,
named Ray Allen, who made the biggest shot that I've seen in NBA Finals history.
He brought you an NBA championship with his shooting.
Okay,
do you know what this is? This is like someone asking me if Jalen Rose was a good NBA player. I'm like, oh yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, how about this? Well, one of those guys was actually in the game. And one of those guys who I love, James Jones, was watching the game at that point. So that kind of answers that. But here's what I will say about Jay Hoops. He is a knockdown shooter. We were a part of the fitness club in Phoenix, which means if you're not among the 7.5 that Mike D'Antoni's going to play, the rest of the guys play 3-on-3, did a lot of 1-on-1, and he is a great knockdown shooter. Revived himself like a lot of people who defected from the Miami Mafia in Cleveland running with LeBron.
Uh-oh.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
College football championship is set. It's going to be a rematch, Alabama-Clemson. We should be discussing that, but instead we are discussing a certain play in which Curtis Samuel was on the ground. Christian Wilkins gave him a little man grab, we'll call it, little tweak. If someone did that to you, how would you feel?
Didn't like it. It was foul. Literally. Yeah. Don't fondle me. Don't sexually assault me during a football game. That's what that is.
That's not in the rule book. That's not a game plan.
I don't play those games. In a different way, it reminded me of the World Series celebrations that we saw the Cleveland Indians doing.
But that's teammate-on-teammate fun, smile, silly. Like Ben Bullware is saying, that's just silly. We're just having fun. We're having some fun with the other team. We do this all the time. We're locker room guys, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, man, let me tell you something.
That? Was that dirty play or a silly play?
Let me tell you something. Your family jewels don't know if it's your teammate or the opponent.
Well done. We have a matchup in the NFL playoffs, in a playoff game between these two quarterbacks. Connor Cook faces off against Brock Osweiler. Let's be honest, let's be real. Are you watching this game from start to finish?
No.
I'm not watching this either. I'll look on Twitter. If it's close in the fourth quarter, I'll turn it on. But this is when I get some family time in this weekend.
Absolutely. I'm going to check out what Cooper or Crabtree doing. You know, maybe see what... Man, no. Oh, man, I feel bad for DeAndre Hopkins.
This weekend will be the first time that Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown all take the field together in the playoffs. With the Raiders falling apart at the quarterback position, are the Steelers the biggest threat to the Patriots in the AFC?
The best triplets in the game you just mentioned play in Pittsburgh. This will be their first time all healthy in the same playoff game, which is going to be major. The AFC, like you and I both said, at the beginning of the year, we felt it would come down to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. And I'm not wavering from that opinion.
Yeah. Do you support Nick Young's pelvic thrust celebration?
I ignore a lot of the things that Nick Young does.
He does a lot of things.
Except when he makes 6 threes in a game, which I like to see him be a productive player. You can miss me with some of those celebrations, but to each his own.
You know what, Jalen Rose? I absolutely loved it.
I know you do.
I absolutely loved it.
You love intergender twerking.
I love the celebration before the ball goes in. I don't care if you miss it, Kemba Walker. I don't care if you miss it, Nick Young. I love the pre-score celebration. And if you drop a pelvic thrust on top, even better. I have to ask you about this. It was one of those moments where I was like, I need to talk to Jalen Rose about this. Kelly Oubre, you know him, the Wizards, good player, shooter. He wanted to get some extra shots in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He doesn't get that many minutes or anything. Mm-hmm. He's in Dallas to play the Mavericks. So him and a trainer go to a YMCA, and they're using one half of the court. A group of 10 assembles on the other half of the court. They're going to play full court.
Uh-oh.
They're about to go down the other side of the court, and Kelly doesn't get out of the way. Kelly and his trainer are like, nope, management said we could be here. We're not going to let you run full. What? Is it within Kelly's rights to deny this pickup basketball game? You know what side I'm on.
Absolutely not. It's poor etiquette.
But you can't do that.
Terrible decorum.
You can't do that.
And the person at the YMCA that allowed this to happen should be fired immediately.
This is my thing. There are 10 of us. There are 2 of you. This is not the only basketball hoop in Dallas, but we have 10 of us assembled here, as we do all the time at lunchtime. Now, to be fair to Kelly, the write-up that I read on this said he was very nice. It was more the trainer that was being a jerk about it.
Kelly, you have to do like all of us. When they're running 5-on-5, you got to shoot when they're on the other end.
Exactly.
When they call fouls, you got to run out there, get you 2 or 3 layups, get you 2 or 3 jumpers.
You made it to the NBA. I know you know the rules of pickup.
No question.
Yeah.
Or here's another thing you could do. You could just play with them and get your Wilt Chamberlain on. You could just be dominant.
That's it. Yeah. You don't get shots like that for the Wizards, but you can get those shots at the YMCA pickup game. They've announced the headliners for Coachella. Now, Jalen Rose, a lot of people wouldn't know this, wouldn't suspect this. Jalen Rose has attended Coachella.
Let me tell you something. When I hear they had a Tupac hologram somewhere, I'm there the next year.
Yes.
I'm like,
when's Tupac come on? When's Tupac? Wait, Tupac not here this year? He was here last year.
And I heard rumors they might have an Eazy-E one. I'm like, I'll be there.
I'll be there this year. Headlining are Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, and Radiohead. Can you name a Radiohead song?
I could name a song off I Can't Live Without My Radio.
I'll take that as an answer. You're good. Amazon has a new patent. Now, you know they want to deliver via drones, right? We just thought there'd be drones flying around the sky bringing you toothpaste or whatever. I love this. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Bring the drones to my house.
Car to drive
I want you to bring
I want to tie
Chinese
my own
food to my house.
shoestrings.
I want you to drop off my beef and broccoli via drone at my front door. Thank you very much, as long as it saves me 5 minutes. But now they have a patent for flying warehouses that deploy drones to deliver goods. You see what's happening now? We have a warehouse in the sky.
Meet George Jetson.
And the drones fly out of the warehouse and bring you your Amazon
Jane,
goods.
his wife.
Are you down with this? Or are you going to be old man Jalen versus the
Daughter,
future?
Judy. I'm against that.
You miss you with the flying warehouses?
I can drive and park my own vehicle. I could tie my own shoelaces. There's certain things I'm not going to embrace that make us a lazier society.
But Uber, But Uber?
That's more efficient for me. I can text. I can email. I could sleep.
You can have your conversations that you dropped on?
No, I just tell them turn up the radio. Every time my phone rings, I'm like, dog, you don't have to turn down. I didn't ask you to turn down the radio.
So, I'm at odds. I love and respect the on and off court actions of the great legend, Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. However,
now when I jump in my car,
he has disrespected me, Jalen Rose. He wrote a long column for the Hollywood Reporter, a reputable rag, saying that my show, The Bachelor, is ruining the future of romance in our society. Are you with Kareem or are you with Jacoby on this one?
I'm with El Capitan. Here's what's happened to television.
It's great.
It's now been diminished to reality shows
Love it.
that don't
Vanderpump.
necessarily require the training,
$1 Million
the
Listing.
practice,
Bachelor.
the discipline
Bachelor in Paradise.
that goes with being a trained actor.
And the challenge,
So it, to me, dumbs down the product,
which is why I like it.
and therefore people like yourself enjoy it, which it is what it is. Me, I don't. There's a show called Dating Naked.
I love that show. Have you seen it?
How you gonna date somebody naked?
Have you seen it? After watching that show, I'm wondering how people even date with their clothes on.
Come on, man.
Finally, we have to address this. It's been bubbling for a few days now. There's a thing going on the social media networks between Soulja Boy and Chris Brown. There was going to be a boxing match set up, people running in the streets, being crazy, and now Soulja Boy is apologizing for all of it because his mother is in the hospital. What do you make of this whole mess?
This is where I turn into old man Jalen.
Oh, I love old man Jalen.
It hurts my heart to see the gang affiliation, the gun toting, the glamorization of what's quote unquote the hood, and more importantly, publicly showing as blacks that we still have to find ways to problem solve other than resorting to violence and disrespect. And both of these individuals are so very talented. Like Chris Brown is one of the most talented people at anything. Like, this dude can play basketball, he can box, he definitely can sing, definitely can dance. And Soulja Boy, I mean, he made himself into a brand off of a laptop computer. I mean, that's talent. So I just hope these gentlemen find some harmony, find some respect in one another, and that nobody gets injured, nobody gets hurt. And hopefully we see that they can find a way to get along and make peace.
You know who really made themselves a brand off a laptop computer? Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. Thank you so much for listening on ESPN Radio, for watching on ESPN2 and ESPN News.
Thank you.
And subscribing
Thank
to
you.
the Jalen and Jacoby podcast.
You're far too kind.
Now we're going to transition on the podcast. What you just listened to was our television show. We don't have a radio show today, but we're not just going to do the television show and then stop, because
Radio
there is
suckers never play
no people that take in Jalen Jacoby content that are more important to us than the everyday podcast listeners.
In the
we
trunk.
will never forget the people that have been listening to us forever. There is no one that I respect more and that I will give a stronger pound to than the people that come up to me and say, I listen every day. Because then you have a real relationship with us, and we appreciate that. So on the
kind of
days,
relationship like a Clemson defensive player would have with an opponent.
not that kind of relationship.
Okay.
More of like a friendly relationship. You know, like the kind where you see him, you say, "Hey, man, shout to you."
So here's the thing. So you mean to tell me if I have a question for you?
Okay.
One of your fans came up, just gave you a friendly tap on the backside and said, "Keep doing your thing."
I'll just let it ride. Quick tap. The difference between a tap and a grab. A grab on the backside, we'll probably have a conversation about it. But the quick tap, I wouldn't appreciate it. I wouldn't like it.
Why wouldn't you like it?
But I'm not trying to have a conversation with that person. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep moving myself. Thank you. And on this show, we have a motto. That motto is we give the people what they want.
Gotta give them
And
what they need.
What better way to give the people what they want than ask the people? So if you dial 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us voicemails. And what we'll do, listen to those voicemails, play them on the show, and answer the questions. Let's listen to the first voicemail.
Hey, this is Rachel from New York. I'm a listener since the very beginning, and my boyfriend doesn't make me listen to this show. I make him listen to it. Anyways, I wanted to know, with the new year upon us, do you guys even believe in New Year's resolutions? And if so, what are your New Year's resolutions? Anyways, thanks so much for the amazing show, Jalen and Jacoby, and here's to 2017.
Big shout to Rachel. I love that she makes her boyfriend listen to it. I love that she listened the whole time. And I love that she is from the greatest city in the world, New York.
And she clarified it. I think that's the first time that we actually heard a caller make that distinction.
I like that. Now, here's her question. Do you believe in New Year's resolution? I have a very simple answer to that. No.
Yes.
I don't make New Year's resolutions. I don't use January 1st as the moment in which I need to change my life. I need to improve my life, not just January 1st, but the other 364 days of the year as well.
Well, this is where we disagree, because there can be times during a month, a quarter, a year, where you feel like you need to press the reset button in your life.
Oh, I believe in that.
Just on the decisions you make and things that you hope make you better. And to me, it's not necessarily about the resolution. It's about the completion. Because it's almost like guards getting to the basket. A lot of people can penetrate, but most people don't finish. So that's my personal resolution. Things that I'm passionate about, things that I hope to get accomplished. I don't just get to second base and stop. I don't just get to third base and hope somebody brings me home. Actually be a closer, be a finisher.
Well put, Mr. Willis. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
It's Christine Leahy, and I had a question about the Giants players on their boat. And Jalen, I'm hoping you can take me behind the curtain on this one. Is it medicinal? Is that medicinal in some of their hands? I believe so. Why is one of the players holding a bat? Jalen, can you break this down for me? Thank you. Goodbye.
First of all, big shout out to Christine Leahy of Fox Sports. She works with Colin every single day. She also listens to the pod.
We got to shout her boyfriend, too. Because
my man Aaron.
He makes sure that she got familiar with the podcast.
Look, I'm a fan of Aaron's. I watch him on reality TV.
Wow.
I watch him on reality TV leading the Cycle House classes.
That's what's up. What up,
Hard classes. Hard classes.
The Herd. That's one of my dudes.
So let's answer her question.
Yep.
Was there some medicinal material on that boat with the Giants?
In football, pretty much like basketball, you're able to indulge as you consider once the season starts. That's why it's sometimes head scratching for players to get caught.
Now,
because really,
it seems like a loophole in the system here.
Because really, all you got to do is pass the test at the beginning of the year.
And then if you passed every test, you can continue to do so in perpetuity.
It's not even every. It's just one test at the beginning of the year.
This seems like, I don't know, not the best way to catch people that are smoking marijuana.
You're not supposed to get caught. That's the whole point.
Because if I knew when the test was coming, I could prepare for the test. And then when I knew when the test was over and another test wasn't coming, you know what else I could do?
If you find that you don't like my ways, send me back in 30 days. Stop blowing 30 days before camp. Simple. This is not brain surgery.
That was one of the most interesting and intelligent things you've ever said in this program.
Okay? Then when you pass that test in training camp, guess what you can do for the rest of the 18 weeks of the football season and the playoffs?
Smoke marijuana.
Whatever you like. So I would not be surprised in any way, shape, or form if there was some medicinal taking place.
Another thing I heard, I go deep into these stories.
Okay.
And I watched the Trey Songz videos. And in one of them, off camera, you can hear someone say, "Oh no, I can't take Adderall." Now, I don't know that was a New York Giants player that said that, but it would make a lot of sense if they did. Let's move on before we get fired. We have a tweet from Zach. Zach wants to know, at what point is it appropriate to stop saying Happy New Year? First of all, if you've seen somebody and said it, that's over. All right? There's one time only. Secondly, I'm going to say January 14th. January 14th.
I'll say a week.
January 7th?
Like a birthday.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen somebody?
But here's the thing. If your birthday is January 1st, hopefully you can celebrate it within those 7 days. Unless you want to have a party with a friend and you're doing double birthdays and things like that. But at some point, it's not your birthday week, your birthday month. Okay? So for New Year's Eve, it's a festive time. You're the captain of people not celebrating enough.
You need to
so
celebrate
I see
more.
why you would give it a half a month. I'll give it 7 days.
Okay. Next tweet we have is from Jeffrey. Jeffrey wants to know, if Jalen or Jacoby could have a cameo on any current hit TV show, which one would it be and why?
Fresh Off the Boat or Blackish?
I would want to go on First Take so I could work with the best host in television. That's what my answer is.
Very nice.
As we always do on Wednesday, you may have noticed that a lot of our voicemails come from our female listeners because Wednesday, we have Women Crush Wednesday, where we celebrate the more intelligent, responsible.
Absolutely. And big shout to all of the amazing women in my life.
Let's listen to the next female voicemail.
Hey, what's up? This is Marissa.
And Max.
And we just wanted to let you guys know that we are big fans. And we had a question for you. What are some of the most memorable, nicest, fanciest public restrooms you've ever used?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. There is one in New York City in this restaurant on the Bowery, I want to say. No, it was on Lafayette, just south of Houston, and you would get in. It was a clear glass door. You would get in the restroom being like, it was a co-ed bathroom, too. This is a clear glass door. Like, huh? And you close it behind you, and guess what happens, Jalen? Fogs up.
What?
I really appreciated that. Because once you know the trick, you can see everybody else just kind of looking at the bathroom and being like, wait a second.
I'm not as inviting for public bathrooms. Usually, I would like my performers to be standing up.
Oh!
If it's going to
so you don't do road games? No road games? Your road record is bad?
If it's going to include
my road record is great. Undefeated on the road.
Performance, I'm going to use a lot of toilet paper to cover the toilet seat.
Okay.
But more importantly, I'm probably eating good and rushing in there, so I'm not paying attention to the extremities.
Okay, let's move on to the next voicemail.
Hey, Jalen Jacoby. This is your girl, Heather B. from Long Island, New York. I'm a big fan of the show. My question is for Jalen. Have you ever thought about going into coaching? Keep giving the people what they want, and I'll keep listening. Love you guys.
Thanks for the love, Heather. We truly appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Love the Long Island Railroad.
As the founder of a charter high school that opened in 2011, that's my ultimate philanthropic endeavor that I'm passionate about. Now that we've had 2 graduating classes, around 600 students in and outside of the building that we serve, in a couple of years, that's going to get around to 800. Once it happens where it's a well-oiled machine and in perpetuity, where we're serving the students to the point where we're promising outcomes and we're delivering on them, coaching and or leading young people in basketball may be something I consider doing if the right opportunity presents itself.
Can I get an assistant job?
Absolutely.
We haven't talked numbers yet, though.
No, we know the numbers. I'm going to give you the checkbook that Rick Pitino gave the assistant that got them in trouble.
Oh, okay, perfect.
In Louisville.
Next question we have is from my man AG, Anthony Gilbert. Known this dude for a long time. Legend in the sneaker game. He has a good question. Who is the NFL MVP? He says Dak, hands down. It's a good question. This is one of the fun MVP races, both in the NFL and the NBA, where there is no hands down, clear-cut winner, as there was last year in the NBA.
This year's NFL MVP from start to finish didn't miss 4 games like Tom Brady.
Oh, I'm saying Tom Brady.
Probably didn't have the initial valley that Aaron Rodgers had in his team.
Mm-hmm.
Was as consistent as Dak.
Ooh.
And
I know where you're going.
Ezekiel, Matt Ryan.
Ooh. Lost Julio, too, for a while.
Anybody that's a football fan, you just name me 3 receivers that play for the Falcons.
Julio Jones, Mr. Jones, and Julio. Roddy White still there?
No, the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, my bad. Big shout to AG. Thank you so much for the question. One final question, which had me debating with myself.
You went to the bathroom before the show?
Well done. That was actually funny. Sometimes you derail Reeves' When I was done debating myself in the bathroom before the show, is Isaiah Thomas the best point guard in the East right now?
I'll flip a coin. It's
No.